it's Jim T. Graham with RC Groups, and today we're looking at the Walkera QR X350 Pro quad. I have probably 5 or 6 quads now, and I have a really large quad, I have micro quads, and what I've been looking for is something that would be a nice backyard FPV quadcopter, a nice aerial platform, and I'm curious because this is starting to look like it. You know, I had to put together first I got a quad, then I got a GoPro, then I realized I needed anti-vibration mounts, then I realized I needed a gimbal. And so when you start trying to figure out how to put all these things together, it gets complicated. Now that's part of the fun, is getting it all working, and I have. But the unique thing that I'm looking at here when I open the box is that it's all in one box, meaning that everything's meant to work on this unit, which has got to make it easier. And so let's just talk about some of the things that we're looking at here. The iLook camera is new. It's a GoPro alternative. I believe it's 1280 by 720p, which isn't bad. And an interesting feature on the iLook that I'm noticing here is that it has a connector for your 5.8 antenna. And it's a nice 5.8 antenna, at least it looks to be. And I believe the range on that is around 0.3 miles, 500 meters, which isn't terribly far away, but for what I'm looking for, it's perfect. Another interesting thing I see here is this large LiPo. It's a 5200. They're saying around 23 minutes or 25 minutes, something like that. We will find out, fully loaded, see what we get. And we have another lithium polymer here, which I have to assume is for the camera and or gimbal. And then this is this charger, which, you know, we'll all be using our real chargers, but I always like having an extra charger. And then finally, well, not finally, actually just finally on the front side, because we're about to flip this around and look at the back, it comes with the Devo F7. Now, you know, a lot of the things that we buy in this grade come with transmitters, usually not nice transmitters, and this appears to look pretty nice to me. But here's the interesting part. I thought this might have batteries or something. It's actually an LCD screen right here with a hood. It's pretty small, but it could be effective. I think it's interesting that all these things are in one unit. So I'd be pretty happy just right here, but let me flip it over and show you what's behind the plastic. So this is what's underneath the quad and all the components. You can see here we have these legs. We have props. Whoop. We have a gimbal mount. So this is what I'm kind of excited about. Let's see how many props they gave us. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we get a spare set of props, which is awesome. And here's the most awesome part of all. It's a 2-axis gimbal. It's made for this unit. Everything you need is here, including isolation mounts. So that's pretty exciting. We'll see how it works and get it all bolted together. Let's see what this is. It looks like some connection wires as well as tools for the transmitter parts. That's probably a transmitter charger. And I don't know what that is. It looks like little rubber feet up there. I'm going to show you one more thing. Now I'm pretty sure this does not come in the package for the QR X350. These are additional components, but they're awesome additional components, especially if you're doing a review. The one thing you don't want to have happen when you're doing a review is A, you only have one battery, because then you have to run home and charge it, or B, you break a prop. So they've sent me another 5200 battery, which is great and probably something everyone's going to need. And more importantly, they sent me prop guards. Now I have been made fun of for using prop guards in the past, but prop guards have saved my bacon plenty of times, especially when it's good to have a prop guard especially in brushy area, which I am in brushy area. So this is everything I have. When we cut back, we'll have the QR X350 all put together, and then we'll talk about it some more. Well, it's been about a week and a half since I unboxed the QR X350 Pro, and I wanted to go over some of the things I've learned. I've had other people fly it. I've flown it here and at the field. And let's just talk about the unit itself. The prop guards went on with ease. They have metal pieces that go between them, and the grass stain should indicate that I've fully utilized them and I have not broken a prop yet. Awesome. The props themselves went on, no problem. And there's little indicators in the plastic on each arm to show you which prop goes where, so you get everything spinning in the right direction. The gimbal popped right on. It literally slid on and popped, and it was locked and ready to go. The iLook camera needs to be bolted in, so you take a little screwdriver and pull this little black bar off and then put it in and screw it back on. You can access your SD card, your micro SD card from the side while it's in the gimbal, so you don't have to take it out for that. You have your 5.8 transmitter antenna right here, and then your cable going out to the unit. And then those cables are going to plug into your controller of your G2D. They also provide power from the unit, and all that's there. So there's nothing to install or nothing you have to wire, which on all my other quads, this is something that you have to solder and do things like that. And then there's also these two wires, and they control the pan and tilt of the gimbal. Set up stock, it only tilts. You can adjust the tilt angle right here with a screwdriver, and all this is in the manual, the PDF, which I will be linking to in my review. So let's talk about getting everything initialized. I had an issue. I could not get my quad to arm, and I thought I had a defective unit. I got on RC Groups, and I found that the trim for the throttle was not perfectly in the center, and that was what my problem was. And to know you're in the center, it will make a different tone. And when I got there, I came out, it armed, everything was great. The other thing to be aware of is you want all your switches in the up position. That means everything's off. If it's not in the up position, it may initialize, but you're never going to get it to arm. So those are the two things you need to know to get in the air. So we're going to turn the radio on, then we have 10 seconds to plug in our wires. And when you plug in your wires, you're setting your home position. So you want to make sure, like if I go fly this, this would be a bad place to plug it in. I would want to plug it in out there in the open, so if it ever had to return to home, it would have an open area to go to. So I'm turning on my transmitter, plugging in my cables. This is going to tell you that it's initializing and matching. This light's going to flash from the unit to say it's doing the same thing. This is going to chirp, and then that will go out, and that will mean that everything is connected. So then what it's going to do next is start looking for satellites. And so the light on the right will start flashing to tell you that it's talking satellites. And in the manual you can find how many flashes equal how many satellites that it's discovered. So that's kind of the setup. And then what we'll do is I'll take it out and fly it a little bit with my new hat cam so you can see it in the air and see the screen in action. And that's another thing I'd like to show is now that it's on, it's actually transmitting video to the screen on the transmitter, which is pretty awesome. And it tells you your battery voltage, your time. If you've got a micro SD card in, it will tell you. If you don't, you get a red X. So pretty cool on-screen display just for this. There's also a headphone jack on here, so you can actually pick up audio while you're flying if you wanted to. So now I guess what we'll do is move straight into flying it and looking at some of the footage coming off of the iLook. So I took the quad out to the back area of our house and did a little flying. So now we're going to jump over to the iLook footage to see how that looks and also check out how the gimbal works. Here I just wanted to give you an idea of what the on-screen display looks like in the transmitter. Pretty cool. And then after this, I took it out to the field with Jason Cole and I did a little flying, and then I got Jason on the stick. So let's jump over to that. And both switches are up, and we're going to go. So this thing is basically manual mode. It has a heading hold, but once you're in heading hold, you can't fly it. It's just going to hang in one place. There's also a return to home, which I thought we might test today. And that's kind of the overview. It's essentially a quad aerial platform, and you can see there how the gimbal's working. Sorry. I'm going to go into heading hold and see what happens. So now it's in heading hold. But it's fighting the wind. I'd say we have 10 to 15 out here today. I'm not unhappy with that. So that's your heading hold. I'm going to flip the return to home switch while we're here, and let's see what happens. Are you ready, Jason?
Oh yeah.
Now we're in return to home. And those are the features of the Walkera. So that's pretty cool. What we're going to do next is, I'm going to hand this over to the best quad pilot I know in Nashville, and that's Jason Cole, and we'll see what he thinks. So we've got Jason on this thing. I'm going to take the mic over and let him talk while he's flying it. So tell us what you think in general.
All right, I mean, it's okay so far. It's a little bit of a headwind, but it's fine. It's flying. 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 it's flying pretty good. It does have that manual mode is not like a manual mode as I normally see it. It is like an ADI mode where if you let off the stick, it does kind of level itself. So it'll stay level, but it'll drift with the wind. And then that hold mode is like turning on a GPS lock and will allow it to hold position. And it does it okay. It's pretty windy out today. But you can see that's full forward on the stick. And that's about max speed right there in this mode because it won't let it change the angle of attack any more than that. That is full speed. And it's holding pretty good. It's a little wobbly. Maybe the gains need to be tuned slightly just to make it a little bit stiffer for my preference. But it is holding very well. And it responds, you know, really good to my control. So it feels like I'm flying just a normal helicopter or any other quad. So I'm kind of digging it. I like to fly it when it's really calm out and try to do some video with it with the FPV system on.
So this is my wrap up of the Walkera QR X350. You know, you really can't beat it as an all-in-one inclusive package for FPV. Now, I think it's more of an aerial platform than an FPV platform because while the screen and the transmitter is cool, it's not really in the right place for you to fly first-person video. But I do think this is a great all-in-one aerial platform package. Now, if you were to put some goggles with this, and my Sky Zones did work with this, then you would have an FPV package on your hands. You know, some quads have attitude hold where you can fly and let go of the sticks and it stays in one place. This is more of a manual. It will self-level, but really it's going to slide around. So if you were to do FPV with this, I would suggest that you're always flying forward. Don't go sideways because you don't know what you're about to fly into. While the prop guards don't come with the kit or the package, I would suggest you go ahead and get them. I utilized them mere minutes ago in the front yard. So they're easy to put on and they will keep you in the air when you slam into things, which I tend to do. So once again, big fan of the camera and the 5.8 transmitter, 200 milliwatts. I haven't tested its extent or its range, but I mean, it's just awesome because it's all in one piece, and I plan on using this on some other things. And I like the transmitter. You know how usually you get a transmitter with something, you always want to move it over to your main transmitter. I have no problem with this. I'm a big fan, and I would like to get some receivers using on some other things in the future. So this is definitely an intermediate quad. It's not a beginner quad at all. And the real strength, I think, here is that it has everything that you need to get going in aerial photography or FPV if you had some goggles or a monitor that you could use with this. Thanks to the folks at Walkera for sending me this unit to check out. I hope this has helped you in some way, either with your existing unit or purchasing a unit in the future. I'm Jim T. Graham with rcgroups.com.